Hey people, thank you for tuning in and welcome back to another episode of the Jagged Edge. This is Ian here along with Chris.
Woo!
And we got a freaking loaded show
a lot of show.
From gaming to movies. Again, it's been another very eventful week.
Packed.
Week and a half, however you want to say it. There's some pieces of news that we have kind of running concordantly over a few other things we've spoken about in past weeks, but it's all sort of meeting here in a crazy nexus point.
You should be paying us for this.
Rightfully so.
This show is packed. In fact, why don't you shut up? Because I'm going to go...
All right.
Yes.
We'll just cut the recording now. I mean, hey. So... Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I was going to try to be sassy. First thing, though. First thing. I've been waiting for this. Actually, I was waiting for this. We kind of thought that we all knew this was going to happen. Nintendo, my favorite company, has announced the SNES Mini.
Woo!
All right, got a lot to go through here, so let's get the breakdown on it. It will be released, and I say that with quotes because most of us will probably never see it, but they're saying that this myth will be released on September 29th. Bonus, 2 controllers will come with it this time instead of just the one. Unfortunately, they have not said what the length of the cables were, which is one of the biggest complaints of the original one, besides the fact that no one could get it. But it was said that for those that did get it, the chosen few, said that the cables were way too short. $80 this time, 20 more than the SNES Mini.
Spit it out.
Yep, I'm getting to it.
All right.
Slow me down. All right. 21 games included instead of 30 this time. All right, going to go off this list here. All right, here we go.
It's a good list.
All right, we'll talk about that after because I think I think the contention and the proof is in the pudding there with the games. All right, Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby's Superstar. Never heard of that.
It's a good game.
Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting. Let's see. Oh, no, see, I lost it there. Was that the Street Fighter one? Got me. That's Super Castlevania 4, Ghouls and Ghosts. That's right. It's Ghosts and Goblins, though. It's the original one, isn't it?
I thought so.
Yeah, okay. Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars.
So happy to see that.
Super Mario World, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and a never before released, at least in the U.S., had a European release under a different name, Star Fox 2.
Super amped about that. I've been following this one closely, too, and man... when the original Star Fox came out on SNES, a lot of people were blown away. Like, oh man, 3D on a 16-bit system. You know, I loved it. It was my besides some really early Atari games, that was my first jump from early flight simulator that I played, and especially to a sci-fi setting. Adored the heck out of it. Love Star Fox 64 as well. Would love to play this one. So it's really cool.
I am not drinking one bit of that Kool-Aid. I could care less about Star Fox.
Man.
I'm one of those guys. No, I'm one of those guys. I don't care. I don't care. I mean, when that came out, I was playing Doom. So, no, seriously, I just never got into the Star Fox thing. I know it's big, though. So kind of similar to the NES Mini. There's a lot of great games on here. I don't think there's as many. It's hard to compare the two, but you can't help but to compare them, looking at a lineup like this and it's similar, especially when it's $20 more. But, I mean, there's some great ones on here. Tons of Mario again. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, that's always fun. Especially the Hyper Edition, which I think I actually played. Legend of Zelda. Did I say that? Mega Man?
Yep.
Aliens 3, Contra 3 Aliens War. I don't remember that one.
No, I don't either. I played some of the earlier Contras. The only for some reason when I think of Alien, I think of Alien versus Predator.
Right.
That was in 16-bit, but no, I didn't. I don't think I touched this one.
I think the Aliens 3 game was quite a famous game on the SNES.
Yeah.
Let's see. Street Fighter. Final Fantasy 3. Now, I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah,
For as huge as Final Fantasy 7 was, Final Fantasy 3 was the one that got it there.
and it's a pretty, it's a pretty big deal because they later released FF Anthology and all the different collections that finally translated the FFs that never made it here originally because we had a lot of renumbering of games
right.
like 2 is 4, 3 is 6, etc. But the fact this is actual 3 and not 3-6, that's great because this
wait. This isn't the U.S. version of 3. This is not 6.
This is 3.
This is 3-3.
3-3.
That is weird. I took it for the meaning of it being Final Fantasy 3 in the U.S., meaning 6.
Oh no, rightfully so, because that did follow the original release.
Okay, that is odd. All right, so I guess my question is, where is Final Fantasy 6? Because that's the big one.
Yes, well, somewhere in La La Land. Hey, if you really want to know about 6, this is just on the rumor mill right now, but that is being floated for a remake. Don't quote me on that. There's nothing concrete. I'm not even going to run with that yet, but I'm saying that's being floated. So,
well, even if they announce it, we won't see it for 20 years.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, wait, no. If Nomura is a part of it, you won't see it for 20 years. Guarantee that.
Well, so now that's disappointing to me. I thought it was going to be. I remember spending. That's actually. I mean, I'd played 1 and 2 in the past, but I mean that was the first Final Fantasy game I actually sat down and played and completed.
I didn't know you went all the way through 6. I don't think we ever talked about that.
Yeah. I dug into that one.
Wow.
So that's disappointing. That's not on here. I mean that is one of the. Are you sure that's not 6? The US 3.
I'm like 99% positive.
All right. Well, did I say F-Zero?
You read through it on your first take. Okay. I mean, what had you gone? Were you into F-Zero when that came out, or did you play it a lot?
No. I just am looking at the list. I'm like, did I say that? So I mean, there's some great ones on here. There's some obvious ones. Obviously, Link to the Past is great. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I remember playing that one. Super Mario World. I never played Super Punch Out. I loved the first one though.
Oh man, who doesn't remember Punch Out?
Yeah.
Golly.
So I want you to talk about these games for a minute. I'm going to look up this Final Fantasy stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually. Funny you mentioned. I'm actually looking at that a little bit too. Since we're getting into that, I'll go ahead and segue a bit about it. When 6 originally came out, SNES back in '94. This was the third FF game we received in America, but it was actually the 6th in the mainline series altogether. FF2, FF3, and FF5 didn't get released in North America because there was some confusion over the ordering and everything else. But 6 is on a bunch of platforms now. I mean, 6 is on iOS, Android, Wii, Vita. But hey, I think we all remember this back from SNES. I know I got into this game back when I had to go to after-school programs. There was a Super Nintendo set up, and they had FF6, and everyone was always playing it. No one could get past the first snail, the Welk boss, and everybody thought that was like the end boss. So when I finally got to play and sat down and beat that, everybody was mad hyped. So like, oh man, is the game gonna end? And then you realize it just went on and on and on. Said, oh, this is an RPG. So. Yeah.
Well, sir, you will get more time to play Final Fantasy VI because that is the U.S. version of Final Fantasy VI 3.
So they are keeping it right.
They're keeping it wrong.
Keeping it wrong.
Keeping it wrong.
All right,
my bad. It's for the U.S. base, which I guess makes sense because if it was going to be otherwhere, I'm sure just like they did with the NES Mini, they'll come out with the Famicom or whatever.
Yeah, what's so confusing about the FF renumberings though is literally within recent years, every re-release has been done in the original numbering. There has never been a back step to renumber back to the quote unquote bad order. It's always restarting from the numbering scheme that it was meant to have from the original releases. So that's kind of confusing. Wow.
There it is. So. Which kind of makes sense because I mean I know SquareSoft, or maybe it was SquareSoft at the time, Square Enix, maybe it was Square Enix, and I know they released all the originals in their correct numeric order.
Right.
That was a big thing. Didn't they release something like 3 per game or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, or something like that. Which I did not buy, but I know they did release them. I know it was huge, but I mean, yeah, there it is, and I guess that makes sense from Nintendo's perspective,
Right.
Because it's probably how it went. I'm not sure, but at least that is how in the U.S. But there it is. So that is 6.
Good.
3.
Good correction. Good correction.
Okay, so you're loving this. I'm kind of meh.
Eh,
I'm putting my feelings aside. I'm putting away the fact that the chances of me getting my hands on this, I should be playing the lottery instead and wasting all my good luck there, because I realize I'll probably never get my hands on this. But yeah, I'm not feeling it like I was for the NES, and maybe that's an age gap thing. I don't know.
Could be. I feel there's a little bit of reverse translation here, because this is the one I'm feeling more than the NES. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I of course I have some fond memories from NES, but I don't think even I was quite as invested as you were. The start, or we just had a different experience with games. I mean, by the time I had the original Nintendo, I mean, of course, Mario, Duck Hunt, and all those basics, but I felt the 16-bit jump for me was really, really close. Like on the heels of getting an 8-bit, so I just didn't have the time around the system.
So what is your number one pick on this besides Final Fantasy? Because I know you'll pick that one.
Oh, 6 is an amazing game. Man, out of everything here, despite how excited I am to play Star Fox 2, I gotta give that award to Super Metroid. As something I'm just so glad to see, because it deserves it. If there's a game that deserves a spot here, I think Nintendo would be out of their mind not to put that here. It's people talk about it all the time, especially Metroid Prime, that series. If you're really into that and you have not gone back and seen this, please play this. You will not regret it.
See, for me, it's A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Cool.
It's got to be it for me out of all these. So, I mean, we talked about this before the show. I'm going to do a thing. So, in fact, I'm actually going to go back to something I had said. I am going to try to get one of these, because I do want to get one for my brother.
Cool.
And I couldn't get him the NES one, and he hasn't stopped crying about it. It's kind of pissing me off. So, no, I'm just kidding. But I want to try to get this for him and his family. He's he's married, got a couple kids, and they play a lot of games. They play a lot of retro games together. He actually gets out his original Nintendo, and they play. I think they were playing Contra on that.
Oh wow!
So they do a lot of that. I'm going to try to get this for him. At the same time, I'm going to do exactly what I said. I know I sound like I was saying in anger, but I'm going to do this just to see how this is like. Do this as a bit of an experiment. I'm also going to see what I can find as far as an emulator.
There you
that
go.
Will do as close to anything as all of this possible, including being able to save, using the most similar controllers, everything. I'm going to see if I'm sure they will come out. I'm sure people will put them together. I know there's ones out for the NES right now. In fact, I need to get one. I'm going to see what I can find, see where we can get as far as price goes. Just as a warning, I don't recommend other people do this. Don't hack games and cheat and steal and all that stuff I'm supposed to say when I say stuff like this. So, but I'm going to try to get one. Because I'm going to see what the average person has to go through if they actually want this lineup on a little piece of plastic machine. And I think it'll be an interesting experiment.
Cool. Give me a result of it, and then tell me what emulator you found.
Right. No, I'll let you guys know how that all went. I mean, I'm not talking about just getting an emulator on my PC and playing these games off of there. You can actually get these things on chips, and
right.
You can connect them to your TV, and so I want to see how close I can get to what Nintendo is putting out, and see how close it is versus the cost versus the difficulty, and I think it'll be a good experiment.
I like it.
So, but for you, this is a must-buy?
It is. It will be harder than a leprechaun to get a hold of, but I'm going to take a crack at it. We'll see.
All right. So what do you think? Do you think all these games will come out as better versions on the Wii U? Probably just the Wii U and the what's the other one? What's that new one?
You talking about the new DS or the Switch?
The Switch.
Yes.
Yeah. Come out with different, better versions.
New is subjective. I think there's a lot of these with Nintendo that they're content with keeping in its own classic genre for a reason. And I think
but they've been coming out with them with that. We talked about it a few weeks ago. They've been coming out with newer versions that you can play online with your friends and stuff.
Oh, my bad. I thought you meant in remakes or something. Yeah. As far as slightly updated editions, like new features and things like that, I could see it. Although this specific lineup, though, I'm really seeing this as a kind of like the Sega Mega Collections. I don't know if you ever bought any of those. But it's sort of a self-contained classic arcade, and it's just that.
Right.
It doesn't go anywhere out of those bounds. So I'm thinking this is going to stay there. Especially there's some games here that already had two-player functions. A lot of people skipped over this, and FF3/6 actually had a really fun two-player mode. You kind of split your party in half, and one of your buddies controls like 2 or 3 characters, and you control a couple. It was really cool.
What?
That's a thing. That is a thing.
That's like the Duck Hunt thing. You know about the Duck Hunt thing, right?
I don't. Educate me.
The other person could actually control the ducks.
How'd I miss that?
Yeah, you could control the directions they were going and stuff. I mean, they would always be moving. You couldn't stop them or anything, but you could direct them.
Right.
A lot of people didn't know about that.
Man.
Well, okay, so there it is. The SNES, the new mythological console that none of us will ever see.
Have fun trying to get it, let alone pre-order it.
I think as time goes on, as the next, really only 2.5 months. Well, almost 3. Not even 3 months, though. Away. Can you believe that? September 29th.
No, I can't.
Football is going to start out in a couple months. Oh, just wait. Not that far out. I wonder... They're going to have to come out with some kind of announcement as far as how this is going to compare to the NES Mini as far as availability. They've got to come out with something.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot... I complain and I bitch about Nintendo, and I think it's justified. But at the same time, a lot of people feel similar, but they're still fans.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there's a lot of jaded people as far as how that went. And I could actually see a fair amount of them turned off here. I don't think this will have the demand that the NES Mini had.
It may not, but I think the frustration, as you said, is given. It's the very reason because people are fans that they do say something about it. I'd be worried if people weren't saying anything about this kind of release or games like this. So no, it's due. It's relevant. Good stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to watch that. But let's take it back to a more modern time.
Yeah, going pretty recent here with Diablo 3. Anybody who loved playing Necromancer back in D2, I was not a Necromancer. I played Paladin, mostly a Zealadin. Yeah, I know. Top tier class, right? Anybody... Oh, yeah, thanks. Oh, I know. Anybody who adored Necro, well, hey, here's another shot to play it. Diablo 3 patch 2.6 just hit this week with the new class Necromancer, also with some pretty cool additions. The new rifts. There's some new challenge rifts that are weekly loot grabs. They're still done in the style of leaderboard runs. And then a new mode called the Realms of Fate, which are really maps that are sort of interconnected, weaves the different acts together, so you never know what types of enemies you're going to see or what type of champ packs you're going to have come at you. It's more of a randomized layout per map. And then there's also a brand new area that's going to be introduced in Act 2 called the Shadow Moors. Anybody who's especially loving the lore of Sanctuary or really into Necromancer and wondering what happened in the silence after Diablo 2, well, you might get some answers here. And this kind of echoes the with the last large patch with the zone that came out with Kanai's Cube, and you got to find out the history about the barbarian tribes, to see what happened to Kanai himself, the fall of his people, and really learn more about it. So, if they're going circular with this, I think eventually, knowing Blizzard, how they update their games, we're likely going to see some kind of area expansion for each class. I wouldn't be surprised if for Crusader someday we got pulled somewhere to like a Zakarum temple or something, or for a lot of people who cross their fingers for Amazon, but I'll jump beyond that for now. If you even take a look at the Magisters or the mages that we might get pulled to Shansai or one of those areas. So, I got everything downloaded, and just tried to familiarize myself with it. I did not play Necro yet. I didn't sit down and go through many of the new features, but really looked through their skill layout carefully. Obviously checked out some footage. It's looking like a lot of fun. They're just a class I couldn't get into, even in Diablo 2. But I got a couple of close friends who are crazy about them. In fact, I got to ask if they're nerding out on this weekend.
So this just came out when, this week?
Yeah, just within the last couple of days.
Now, we used to play Diablo 3 together.
Sure did.
I mean, it's a great game. I have nothing really bad to say about it. There was definitely some issues at the beginning, but great game. I had a lot of fun with it. I have not played it in about 2 years. That game is pushing. Yeah, it's over 5 years old now. In fact, I think it's pushing 6 now.
It's crazy. It's been that long. Especially, I remember how anticipated D3 was. It was one of the biggest releases I've seen in a long time. It had a lot of expectation on it. Of course, you hinted at it, but the issues with the Real Money Auction House at the very beginning of the game, and leading up to now the launch. And you know what? Hey, Blizzard's done what they always do. They support their games. We've had one major expansion, but a whole lot of patches in between. And if you looked at Diablo 3 years ago when it came out to what it is now, it is a different game. At its core, it's still fast-paced. The thing I always love about it is it has a very, very good combat system. Real engaging, real fun stuff. Oh yeah, it just long-term for various reasons. I know, Chris. There's an issue with gear discrepancy or like gear gap and level gap time. When you're jumping in with your friends, and if you want to get caught back up to a certain point. With others, it's just keeping the grind going. Because eventually you get your Paragon levels up, you're done leveling, you got the classes you want. Now you're hitting rifts. You're really just trying to raise your rift ranking. You're leveling up your gyms, and you sort of cap out until you're waiting for either a new season to come out, a new ladder season if you play that, a new hardcore season, or you're just waiting for another big update. So while there is no sign of a major expansion coming out, it's still getting a lot of pretty content-rich patches. So
see, that surprises me because I was checking this out not too long ago, thinking, there's got to be a second expansion that came out for D3 that I just didn't even pay attention to because it has completely dropped off for me, and I'm a little surprised there hasn't. But a new class is pretty cool. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to download this. I'm going to check it out. Great game, lots of fun. I don't think I'll get sucked into it again. Maybe I will, because I did play for quite a while. And as often as I could at the time, but that is cool. All right, Blizzard. Yay.
Moving right on from Blizzard to 343 Studios. This is the studio that took over Halo specifically. There was an interesting article that popped up the last couple of days that 343 took notice of a independent game project being developed called Installation 01. For lack of being a complete Halo rip, which is really close to what it is, it's essentially a fan-made Halo game. Now, look at the history of these games. Most of the time, when a major IP or major name gets wind of something like this, there's a cease and desist order. Eventually, it's shut down pretty quick. This stuff.
Stop it!
Yeah, stop it! Cut it out! This stuff doesn't go anywhere. There was a big one for Chrono Trigger years back that a lot of people were super sad didn't happen, but that got the big hammer from Square pretty quick. But 343, spotted this one. They've actually been in close contact with the group behind Installation 01 and actually gave them the thumbs up to continue the project to the end under the condition that, of course, they don't profit in any way, that they don't accept funds for it, that they don't have a release and it's being sold, essentially to complete their vision that they set out and the project they set out to do. As long as they stay within bounds, they're fine. 343 won't do a thing about it. It's, while I would expect something like this just to sort of be hit with the band hammer, and I think Halo has really had its time in the sun. There's a lot of other things people are, I think, starting to look at now besides Destiny, and heck, we've talked about a few here. Yep. In other ways, the market's trying to expand, So, not earth-shaking news here, but I did find it kind of neat that this didn't just get wiped out.
Yeah, no, fan-built projects like this are always really cool, and I have to respect 343 Studios, ironically the company that didn't create Halo to begin with, to not try to step on someone else's fun. I guess as long as they're staying within the rules, hey, cool, all right, good stuff. I was never a Halo fan. I mean, I played it with some friends, but they had we'd be over there. They're playing Halo. I'd pick up a controller or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a big first person shooter fan. Never really got into Halo though, but yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone. And for Installation 01 creators, hey, stay within the line.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And just to be completely correct, anybody who's writhing the fact that I'm saying 343 Studios, I know 343 Industries, but
now you get them mad at me now too, because that's what you put that.
I know.
Now
they're
mad at both of us. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, anything I can do to mire your reputation. My goal is to drag your name down. Ideally,
I don't need your help.
All right. You'll do it yourself.
I don't need your help. That's right.
Oh man, there was one other kind of indie project, sort of along similar lines to this, I want to point out because it reminded me of an issue way back when I instantly started thinking of Gary's Mod. This is a little dispute that's been going on for a while now, but it's sort of reached another level in a different stage. Fans broke out in outrage about a set of Grand Theft Auto mods. It's a specific program that's used, and it's been used on like GTA 5, like Max Payne. It's called Open 4, and it got a cease and desist order. At least the creator of Open 4 got an order issued against him by Take-Two, one of the main publishers of GTA. Just to completely stop, to take it down. People went nuts about this because there wasn't anything else here for profit or whatnot. This is your new game plus mod version. But anyway, the backlash has been so intense that Rockstar themselves have gone back and they've actually urged Take-Two to, hey, ease up off the GTA modders, let it go, give them the ability to use this tool, and just there's no point in us restricting this. It's really interesting when you think of the sort of paranoia or I think fear what modders could do to an IP. But in the same hand, how they could support it. I'll take a quick example. The FF7 PC release was terrible. The sound was off. There were so many broken things about it. But it was a fan community that supported that like crazy, to the point where they actually worked it up pretty high quality, to where it's actually higher quality than the original release now. There's so many different mods for that now, but that all went in a positive direction. And while I can't say the exact same thing for GTA, I mean, it's not like this stuff is new. Gary's mod for Half-Life, and
yeah. So what's this thing do?
It's a modding tool. Again, kind of like Gary's mod. You could change various stuff in the world.
Oh, okay.
Alter.
Right, so this like play God mode and stuff, and just like change things, and all right. So kind of like opening things up creatively to mess with the game.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Well, that's always fun. Why would they? Who cares?
Yeah.
Let them have fun with their 5-year-old game.
In GTA is as well. I think I've always seen just goof compilations of this. I think more than any other game. I mean, I remember I first started seeing these come out in mass with like San Andreas and the others, and it's just continued. So,
coffee mod, the infamous coffee mod.
Exactly. So it seemed like kind of like a pointless hit. I guess kind of cool that Rockstar is doubling back on it, and see where it goes.
Have you ever played any of the GTA games?
Oh yeah. I got into GTA when I was about in 7th grade. I started. What was that? I think that was GTA 1 and 2 were on PSX.
PSX?
I want to say. Why? It's funny how I'm saying. In the UK, we called it PSX. I was in 7th grade during that time, so you see what happens in my mind. I jump back like that, man.
But the US did get a PSX release, and it was a really crappy hybrid home entertainment.
Yeah.
Combo, so I had to make sure there.
Yeah, it was. But no, I did. I played the early ones. When I think that was PS1. Yeah, on PS2, I think that was 3 that hit. I own that, and I played 4 as well.
Okay, so I played 3 and I played San Andreas.
Okay.
And San Andreas was such a consumption of my life that I got to back off on this. This I can't be playing anymore. At least I would love to play another one again. It was kind of funny. I was in college and San Andreas came out, and one of our fellow students disappeared for a week and a half. And
Whoa!
we were just like, where is this guy? Where's he been? Teachers are asking about it and stuff like that, and then he just showed up one day, exhausted, and everyone's like, dude, where have you been? He's like, I did it. Really, you did what? I played it. I beat it. San Andreas. And we're like, are you nuts, dude? Are you like I think he failed half his classes or something, but I guess that was worth it to him. It's hilarious. Just the way he came in, it's like he'd been to war. It's hilarious. He just walks in, just stumbling in, and he's like, I get it.
Well, he probably had. I mean, if he got up to 4 or 5 stars, like with the wanted rating that many times.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
cops
and
were hell.
I remember playing 3 and playing it so much that actually, like, I would stop to go to work, and then I'd be like, oh my god, I could just ram the back of that guy's car and take his car. Don't tell me you haven't felt like that either. You've all binged on it to the point where he's like, just do that. I can just pull his ass right out of the car.
If you played GTA, of course you know what got me thinking about that before even GTA was Driver. I don't know if that was big in the US, but that was when I was in the UK over that time. Driver was a pretty big deal when that came out on PS1, and that was kind of my precursor to really getting into Grand Theft Auto. So.
Well, okay, so now here's the important question. Everybody's going to want to know about this, Ian, since we're talking about Grand Theft Auto.
All right.
Did you kill your hookers?
You know what? I didn't even have hookers.
Don't. You are such a lying son of a bitch.
I didn't.
You never got the... Oh, my God.
I
was
didn't.
hookers all the time in that game. I killed every single one of them.
Hey, we had different priorities, man. I mean, I'm sitting here busy trying to get loaded up on weapons.
You could get full life off a hooker. You could get more. You could get extra life. You could go up to 125 off a hooker.
That's true.
You didn't know that?
No, man. I found.
Didn't. It's apparently even in the digital realm of Grand Theft Auto, you're as clean as you are in real life.
I mean, I found out about like the hooker thing like after the fact. Plus, I had a lot of friends that were playing at the time. I'm like, whatever. It's like I don't need that. Too good.
Yeah, man. God, you get done with a big battle with the cops. You actually survive. You ditch your car by getting the paint job on it. Is that way it gets rid of the stars, and then you're all injured and stuff. So you go see a hooker, get your health back for extra, and then you run them over.
You had this down.
All right, so there it is. You are pro hooker. I'm pro hooker too.
No, you're pro hooker.
I'm pro hooker. Kill your hooker. All
right. There's no preservation.
I bet you there's mods in that thing for that too.
Oh, of course.
Now, I haven't played since San Andreas, but I'm sure there's still hookers. I'm sure you can still hire hookers.
Oh man, better
be able to.
Oh, I'd be disappointed if you could. GTA.
That's right. Well, why would you be? You don't use them. Speaking of disappointments,
Inhumans?
Oh my god! Did you watch the Inhumans trailer?
I did.
What is that shit?
Well, I mean, dude. Wait, weren't you distracted by the fact that there's IMAX movie cameras? Isn't that hype?
I think the fact that it's an IMAX actually made it look worse because it's such. Look, I can see this crappy production in clear view. This was horrible. This is okay. So I'm obviously, you know how I feel. I'll get in detail here and say, how'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I really didn't strike many chords. I remember watching the first start of it. I was like, oh, were they trying to make a link to like the cosmic angle of Marvel? And then it started going all over the place. And then the dog went. I'd say it lost me at about 12 seconds. 12 seconds in, it's just... All
right, we need context here, as we do with most of our comic book stuff. I am not an Inhuman fan. I am not against Inhumans in any way, but I've never really been a big fan of them. I know Medusa, I know Black Bolt, I know about that dog, a few others. I mean, hey, it's cool, it's neat. I could see myself getting into Inhumans, but not this show. Maybe the comics, but not this show. This thing looked very low budget. The acting looked really bad. It just looked bad. It's like, you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is also ABC. You watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's fun. And there's a lot going on there. They've now had 4 seasons, but there are moments where you can tell that the production is shabby. It's really cheesy. It has moments. It was a lot worse back in the day, but it still has its moments now. It's like they decided to make that trailer out of every crappy moment that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ever has, but they had it in this show, which really worries me, because when you're making a trailer, you're trying to put together clips of things that are eye-catching, things that look really cool, really good. I didn't see. I really, and then it was like Black Bolt comes to Earth, and it's like, and then he's wearing some cheesy suit, and it's, I'm not interested. I have officially downgraded this from must see in the theaters in IMAX to I will wait till it comes out on TV a few weeks later.
If I didn't know better, if this didn't have promotional tags tied on it, I would have thought this was like an ad for Babylon 5 or something instead of Marvel, because for some reason it just had that vibe of like a random sci-fi series starting up. I mean, like not sci-fi as in, I'm waiting for the next Twilight Zone edition or something, but just one of those random Sci-Fi Channel miniseries.
Right. No, it looked bad. It just looked very poorly done. And it's like, hey, there's the guy doing the big front kick, and there they are running through the jungle when people are shooting at them, and it all just looked a lot worse than the original versions of TV shows or movies that we originally saw that stuff in. Am I wrong?
No.
I'm not excited about this anymore. I was excited for Inhumans. It's something they've been talking about for a few years now. This was originally going to be a Marvel movie.
Right.
I was excited to hear what they're going to do with it. I mean, I was excited in part because this is expanding the MCU, and it's something that I don't know a lot about. I know a few names, I know a couple characters, I know kind of what they can do. It's like, all right, this is a part of the mythology that's going to be expanded for me, and it's going to be fun to watch. I don't think so anymore. I think this is. I'm going to give it a shot. But yeah, this is not must see for me anymore. This is
real quick then. What's further down on your list? This or Cloak and Dagger?
Oh god, no, Cloak and Dagger is way down.
Yeah, I figured.
That looked so bad, dude. That almost looked fan filmish. This looks like bad professional production.
Yeah,
that looks like fan film, which can be fan film, can be great, but yeah, no.
Well, I mean, look at Dirty Laundry.
I worry more and more for the new Warriors. Yeah. More and more.
Well, one I'm not as worried about, but hopefully they didn't spoil the whole movie by now. Next week, man. Next freaking week.
No. Wait, that's Batman.
No, wait. More like no.
You know what I've been doing?
What?
At my office because of this?
What?
So I was at the comic book store a couple weeks ago, and they had Spectacular Spider-Man just got a reprint, re-release, I should say. So they've had Amazing Spider-Man, now they're doing Spectacular Spider-Man again. And so promotional for that, they came out with all these Spider-Man masks. And I was there. I'm like, can I have a bunch of these? And they're like, how many? I'm like, well, like half of what you have here. I want to take them to work and give them to people. And they're like, yeah. So what I've been doing is, because I usually stay late, and so I'm usually the last one there half of the time. And so I've been randomly putting Spider-Man masks on people's desks as when they're gone. And so like just the next day, they'll get them when they come in. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's like, where the hell are these Spider-Man masks coming from? I've gotten almost everyone now. So,
oh man,
and I'm just like, and so to cover it, I'm like, oh my god, where'd you get that? That mask is awesome. I want one. When I've got a whole desk full of them.
Oh man, way to bring the hype.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully they all go see this. Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's we got some of the early reviews in for it. It's looking real solid.
Yeah, so for the fanboys who like to bitch at other fanboys, it'll be all about, for a while now, it'll be all about Spider-Man versus Wonder Woman, which they should not be, but that's how it's going to go, because some people are still MCU versus DC.
Yep.
But yeah, this thing's got a 93% of Rotten Tomatoes already. Early reviews are sounding really good. Most importantly, and this is something we complained about a couple weeks ago, other people as well have been commenting on the fact that, hey, you are releasing way too much of this movie.
Right.
before it's come out, and they're saying, hey, they agree with that, but there's still plenty of surprises in this thing. So I'm really looking forward to this. I don't do a lot of midnight showings much anymore, but I think this is going to be a midnight showing.
Hey, completely warranted, man. I'd look into it myself, but I'm not too sure my time's going to line up. But I'm going to see this ASAP.
Oh no, yeah, I'm old enough now where I'll take a nap beforehand. That's what I did. That's what I did for episode 7. It was like I got tickets for a friend of mine and I for a 1 a.m. showing for that, and I took a nap beforehand. It was
Awesome.
It was sleepy time first, but a couple other Spider-Man things, and so obviously we will be reviewing this.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be a little bit different because we are both really big Spider-Man fans.
Mm-hmm.
I still follow the comic. I'm regularly reading Amazing Spider-Man 2099, which they better make a movie for someday. That guy is awesome. Also, the newly restarted Scarlet Spider, which I've been telling you to get your hands on. Have you yet?
I have not.
That's fun.
I gotta.
It's a lot of fun. So, I don't normally, I'm a big comic book fan. Was a lot more during the 90s. But this is one where I watch regularly. And I know we're getting completely different Peter Parker and Spider-Man at this point because in the comics now he's in his 30s. He's got a lot of money. He runs his own company. There's a whole lot of different stuff going on. But, still, it's going to be fun to see what they do. A couple other Spider-Man things. Last week we talked about the news that Amy Pascal from Sony said, hey, so these Venom and Silver Sable and Black Cat movies, that's all going to happen in the same world as Spider-Man. And everyone was like, what? That's too awesome to be true. Is that true? It is not true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tom Holland was being interviewed doing junkets for promotion for this movie, was asked this question directly and said Venom is not in the MCU. And then actually Amy Pascal again came out and said that currently Venom is not a part of the MCU, but he's part of the Marvel Comics universe, trying to backtrack a little bit there.
There you go.
So will it happen? Maybe, but they're saying there's no plans for it.
This was clear. That was a PR stunt on the spot.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Kevin Feige was not happy about it. That was fun though. That was kind of fun just to watch his face on that. Which one last little bit about that, Kevin Feige also was interviewed and said that Spider-Man has about the same amount of screen time in Infinity War as he did in Civil War.
Yeah, I saw it in your note. I think that's a really cool point. His cameo time or his appearance in Civil War was dead on. I felt it wasn't too little, it wasn't too much. It was for the scene where he was needed, and I think where that was most critical. But let's face it, there's going to be a lot going on in Infinity War, a whole lot. And I think one of the challenges in doing that is getting the characters into the amounts of screen time that they need, where they need it, and when they need it. When you have so many, when you brought in like the Cosmic Verse by this point, not only the Avengers, but their substantive villains and Thanos and everything else, it's going to be wild. So it needs to be balanced and paced carefully.
See, I don't know how I feel about this. Now, look, I mean, here's the thing. It's great that Spider-Man's in the MCU. That's awesome. That's like something that no one ever thought would really ever happen, although everyone was dreaming about it. Mm-hmm. Now he is, though. He's in there, and they've got a multiple picture deal to use Spider-Man in the MCU, and I know it's not permanent, and they're going to see how this deal goes first before they do another one. Hopefully it'll all work out because everyone's going to make a crap load of money off of this. But to be told that he's actually going to have such a little bit of a role, because while he was used perfectly in Civil War, that was also an introduction to the character, there wasn't a lot of screen time.
Right.
And so I'm not a big fan. Now, that being said, there's like 10,000 characters in Infinity War. So,
yeah,
I'm a little worried about it. I'm just not the biggest fan to hear that.
No, that's fine. I think there's one key positive and a key negative to look at here. And I'm gonna look at the first thing first. On one end, one element about a potentially bad element about not having Spidey featured much is in contrast to his role in the comics, which was very important in Infinity War. Sort of, there's a risk of kind of sidelining him into a smaller role, whereas he could have had / did have a bigger impact before. Now, The one thing I am waiting for, though, is I'm trusting Marvel in this one. We know that Infinity War is not going to be just one movie. That there is going to be a separate part. So what I'm wondering is that statement just for the first movie, or overall stating, hey, for the entirety of each episode, he's only going to have a limited time. I sort of took that as just the first movie. I could be wrong, but that's just how I read that.
Yeah, no, I know. I trust what they're doing over there. MCU's usually gets things a lot more right than they do wrong, and at least when it comes to their characters specifically, I don't know. I was kind of like, aw.
Yeah, that's fair.
About it. But I'm excited about this. I think this is my favorite news of the week. I saw this earlier in the week. I was like, what? What are you doing? Okay, so we don't talk about toys much. We don't really do a lot with that.
No.
Maybe in the future, probably not. I don't know. But lots of people are fans of toys, and they had been saying for a long time they wanted Hasbro to come out with a line of figures based on the Netflix characters for the MCU, and they did. And what was important about this is the characters that came out with that line that we have not seen yet. So, with that line was Daredevil, Jessica Jones, which I'm sure is everyone's favorite. No. Punisher, Elektra, but then what was crazy was the rest of the line, which was Bullseye, Swamp Thing, and Blade.
Such a curveball!
That is so awesome.
Ah!
Now, Bullseye's been rumored to be in the next season of Daredevil. But Swamp Thing is completely out of left field.
Yeah.
And Blade is like a dream come true.
We've talked about that multiple times, just here in the show. Just the how well done the original Blade movies were, but more importantly, how it really felt so open-ended to the point where you could just pick that right back up and pick those up and plug them right in to where anything else is sitting.
Here's what's important about this, because they could have done other things with this lineup.
Right.
They could have done Luke Cage. They could have done Iron Fist.
Yep.
They could have added these characters and they didn't. Now, maybe that's a timing thing. It could be. Maybe when they were planning this out, they just didn't have a lot to go over, so they threw a couple of those characters in. This has also been known as the Marvel Knights lineup, which I don't think Blade and Swamp Thing was ever a part of. Bullseye makes sense one way or the other,
right.
But I mean, a lot of people are looking at this like, hey, what are you planning there? This is a little bit of a hint, maybe. I hope. I'm totally fanboying on this. I think and I hope it is. Now, there's also been some rumors that the character that Sigourney Weaver is going to be playing in the Defenders miniseries is going to be linked to vampires. So,
could you ask for a better segue with that if we are talking Blade? Man.
I really, and people are kind of leaning in this direction. I would have been happy. I remember a couple of years ago when they got, I think it was a couple of years ago. Anyways, recently, and not too far past here, when they got the rights back to Blade, they were talking about doing Blade again, doing a movie. Wesley Snipes has been interviewed saying, "Hell yes, I will do it." He's got, and he'll probably pay his taxes that time. That sucked, but there was rumors. I think they did something in the comics where he had a daughter, and they were thinking about doing a Next Generation kind of thing where Wesley Snipes was Blade, but then his daughter, and she was going to be the new Blade and stuff, which sounds a little bit cheesy, but if you did it right, that could have been cool. But if the direction they're going in is a reboot into the MCU with a brand new character or brand new actor playing Blade, you got to be careful with that actor. But if they could do that, that would be so much cooler. I think he lends himself very well to a Netflix series.
Yes, he does, and especially Snipes. I have a very hard time divorcing Wesley Snipes from Blade. I'll be honest. I mean, the guy
he was perfect.
Yeah.
He was absolutely perfect. It is that perfect. It is Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man perfect.
Yep. No, I couldn't agree more.
And I remember watching the TV show that came out after the third Blade, and I tried to be a fan of it. It wasn't very good. The actor, they could have done. I think that actor could have worked. They needed to do some other things with him. I think if you put the right person in this, though, I think it could work.
Definitely. And I mean,
so, what? Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Blade's a real solid IP. So.
Well, and it opens up things to the MCU too. I mean, we've been opened up with the TV shows. We've been opened up to a lot of the gang element now. Some other kind of super villains. This would open up a whole new area. You know, we're starting to get into all the magic stuff with Doctor Strange now. This kind of goes in that same realm with vampires and such. You're getting into a lot of magical stuff with that. Some horror elements, which honestly has been lacking a bit. They haven't really done anything horror. Along with Swamp Thing, also basically a horror type of character. So here's the question. 2 questions for you. If we're going to get a Blade, do we go Whistler or do we go no Whistler?
Ooh. Man. That's pretty agonizing, man. Like, I think just for the sake of bringing Blade into the fold, just for the sake of fully introducing him, his world, everything that surrounds, I say with Whistler.
I agree. That's a great character. One of the few that has actually spawned from the movie, and they put him in the comic. That doesn't often happen. Yeah, I get it. I say go with Whistler. Now, the other question: British accent or no British accent?
You know, the accent wasn't everything for me, for his character. In fact, I think the lack of accent really sort of fits in with the sort of the grit, the area. You know, being within the U.S. Or wherever like they're based, or hey, the accent would not be a hang up for me. I say without.
See, I disagree. Now, and probably most people don't even realize that he is. I think, is he British? I know he's got a British accent. Most people don't even realize that it's from the comics, and obviously, when you're reading a comic, you don't really pick that up. But he's not. He's not American.
Right.
I say go with it. I say that's a part of, you know, I say you introduce that element of him, bring it, because the movies, as much as I enjoyed them, especially the first 2, were really very divorced from the comic.
Right.
And I would like to see more of the comic element brought in. There's some good stories there. They tried their, well, actually, I was about to say they tried their best. I can't agree with that. They tried with the Dracula angle in the 3rd one, which is his nemesis. I think they could do a lot more with it. You introduce the Night Stalkers properly.
Right.
Now you get Spider-Man in there. You're going to see Morbius at some point.
Oh,
that would be awesome. You know, and this leads into what a lot of people want, which is the Ghost Rider on Netflix.
Right.
I mean, you've got a lot of great stuff that could happen here. But throw some more of the comic in there. I get why they didn't, but give him the accent. Give him more of his original lore and background.
Fair enough.
Either way, though, I'm excited. Just do it. Even if you don't do it, I want you to just do it.
Now he's been missed. I'd love to see him.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Now, here's where the questions come in. Now, there's certain I'm sure there's some elements here, especially about X-Men, that have not been missed as much. And you, my friend, found out a couple of really interesting points here about that incoming Dark Phoenix movie. The other parts about it.
Yeah. I'm excited. Woo! I don't know how I feel about this. Logan was good, but I'm not expecting that to continue. They don't have a good track record. There's some new stuff that came out here in the last week or so. James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and what was surprising, Jennifer Lawrence, all confirmed to be in the next movie. So, yay, more Mystique. Yay. I'm actually genuinely happy about James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. I did not think we were going to see Fassbender or Jennifer Lawrence again. I pretty much figured they would throw whatever money they needed to James McAvoy to get Professor X in there. But let's see. Basically, all the returning cast from Apocalypse, people who played Beast, Storm, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and of course Jean Grey, Sophie Turner, who we quoted her months back on something about this a long time ago. Let's see. This will take place in the 90s, as confirmed. Director Simon Kinberg will be directing, who his first time directing, but a long time producer for the X-Men movies. Very hit or miss in the past. This will take place. Let me rephrase. This will have elements of aliens in it. Now that's exciting.
Ooh.
This will have elements of aliens, as the original Dark Phoenix saga was supposed to have. They are casting for, where is it here? For the Shilari Empress. How do you pronounce that? Lilandra.
Uh-huh.
How do you pronounce that?
Lilandra Neramani.
Yes, there it is. You're a bigger fan of X-Men than I am. What do you think of this? Because my opinion is, I'll go see it. I'll go see it. They've got some good actors in there again, so I'll go see it. But But you're the X-Men guy. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, the Lilandra reference really threw me for a loop. I'm actually pretty surprised about that. Last I recall, she was for it was like this empire of I thought it was like a separate Earth timeline. It's like Earth. Man, I haven't heard to remember. It was like Earth 600 or Earth 616, something like that, whatever it was. But this is one of those characters that we sort of zoom out of the mainstay of X-Men heroes and villains that we know, and we start going a little bit to the fringes of the mutant order and more of all those larger campaign elements and kind of long-term wars, crusades, and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of implications bringing her in. Not sure how I feel about that. Only for this reason. We've said this a lot about X-Men spawning in so many crazy directions. They can't seem to stop it. It almost seems introducing a character like this is going to open up another can of worms, and now open the window / door to an entirely additional part of the story they could expand on. I'm leery about that. I never got into the Lilandra stuff a whole lot in the comics. Really interesting, but here, with everything we've seen in the live actions, I'm skeptical.
Oh, wow. All right. I figured you'd go in the other direction because it sounds like they're trying to base this a little bit more on the comic, which instead of that crappy X3 we got. So it sounds like they're trying to more grounded.
But they are. But I'm keeping grounds to where I'm willing to be won over on this one. I'm not jaded skeptical to the point where I think this is just a terrible idea. You shouldn't do it. Except, hey, open-ended to it. There have been so many crazy turns with this series anyway. It'd be great if they did get something sort of back on base that, heck, dare I say it, would be almost like a first-class level home run. So it deserves it. I'd like to see it.
So by the way, if I don't correct you on this, the fanboys will go nuts. You said that she comes from some alternate Earth 616. The main Marvel universe is 616, by the way.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, so I just had to correct you.
No. I'm glad you did. If anything.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Apocalypse. I thought that I think I'm more upset with Apocalypse because there was a lot of potential to do some awesome stuff, and instead they just didn't. It was very novelty-esque. One of the things, and I can't remember the actor's name, that is not on this list is the one who played Quicksilver. He is not on this list. He has not been confirmed to be in this movie yet. That was the best part of the last two X-Men movies. Was Quicksilver.
He was great. He was great.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. They're going because one thing that X-Men has not done is they have not stayed to their comic roots at all. So if that's something that they're looking at doing now, that actually makes me a little bit more hopeful. That being said, Fox is coming out with 3 X-Men movies next year, plus a TV show this fall.
Love it.
Okay, well, you can love it. I'm looking forward to Deadpool 2. I don't know. I'm kind of in the zero fucks category for New Mutants.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we might actually start seeing some superhero overkill here in the next couple of years, and I think we're really going to start seeing it next year. Part of which we have a little bit of news about this. We'll talk about it after, but I'll just bring it up right now. Despite what was said a couple weeks ago from Warner Brothers saying, hey, we're going to go one movie at a time here with this DCEU. They're now saying we want 3 movies out a year.
Ooh.
All right. Jesus. All right. So I think we might, even from someone like myself who loves these movies, I'm even like, come on now, what the hell?
Yeah.
I should try to find an apartment right next to a theater, I guess. No, I mean, there's potential here. I think there's potential here. I'm gonna love it if they. I mean, I want them to go crazy sci-fi space. I want X-Men in space. I want to see crazy space things. I want to see it all based off of what came out of the comic, and I'll check it as I always do. That's what I want to see. I want to see them stop throwing all this awesome X-Men lore out and do some X-Men stuff, not just like, hey, it's it's Jean Grey with the Dark Phoenix power, and
right.
I want to see some X-Men stuff.
Yeah, which is
Stuff.
which is really what going back to the Dark Phoenix movie. I mean that's sort of what we're setting up to do. And honestly, I'm actually partially alleviated. I think by my own muddled memory about the X-Men comics. For some reason, I kept thinking about that alternate timeline, or alternate Earth rather, but it's not. Cool. Hey, a lot of my fears are kind of out of the air about that. So if they can get rooted, and I think stay rooted, could have a good thing. Don't know.
All that being said, who cares? Because we know that Professor X kills them all about 20-some years later when he starts having seizures and he can't control his mind ability and he just busts everybody's brain except for Wolverine.
It all levels out, right?
So who cares? We know what happens.
Yeah.
They're saying that's canon.
Hey, that's the thing. Everything else is just peanut butter jelly.
All this. What? I like what you said, but I don't understand it.
I mean, it's just all filling. Like we know what that filling is. We've all eaten it before. I mean, yeah. we know how the sandwich is going to end.
Yeah, we do. I guess maybe. I mean, Deadpool 2 is going to be fun, so that's why I'm looking. Plus Cable, which, by the way, I read something that said that what we're going to see is the beginning of Cable. He's not going to be completely. He's going to have his techno disease, but he's not going to be completely like half his body is going to be taken over by it, like you see most of the time in the comics. We're going to start seeing that, though. That was some rumors I was hearing.
Crazy.
So that'll be interesting. That's also going to save him a lot of money on special effects, I'm sure. But instead of having him half metal half the time, but okay, we'll see. You've got James McAvoy, you've got Michael Fassbender, you've got Jennifer Lawrence. Although Jennifer Lawrence better fucking bring it this time.
Yeah.
Because she was as bland as a bag of oats in that last one, and I just...
she's there at this point. I mean, it's just there. I'll
take as little Jennifer Lawrence as possible, just because I'm sick of the Mystique character. Who cares about Mystique? This is such a side character.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think bringing her to the forefront, at least a lot of the times when they have done that or made extra efforts to do it, has always felt forced. So I said the last thing, DC, Warner Brothers, like, hey, I want 3 movies out every year. All right, well, good luck with that. You've had 4 movies, 2 of them are good, 2 of them are complete shit. And you want to start, but your last one's really good. So you're like, hey, we can do 3 again. Oh, God, shut up. Yeah, it's just, don't go on overheat with this stuff. There's a reason that all of these various stories, various, heroes, comics, tales, they all have their own lore. They all have their own canon. If you rush this stuff too much at the expense of, let's do this just to get a movie out, just to get a hero movie out, that's really going to make things tiresome quick, which would suck.
It's like Warner Brothers can't not look at the DCEU and not see dollar signs and nothing.
Pretty much. So,
I'm a bigger fan of Marvel. I like a lot of DC stuff. I love the Batman stuff. You do Superman right. Man of Steel 2 could be great. Man of Steel was awesome, but you missed out on a couple things there, I think. I'm not really looking forward to Justice League. Other than, hey, this looks interesting. We'll see. I would probably be looking forward to it more if Batman v Superman wasn't a giant turd, but it's just, but no, 3 of them. What do you whatever.
Hey, it's all good. Just leave it on the wall, man. You got Spider-Man Homecoming, next week.
That's right.
That's all. That's all I got for that.
I am happy again. All right. What else? Did we run through everything?
That's it, man. I think let's wrap this up with an info minute.
Info minute.
Well, next week, Chris, is National Bikini Day, and I gotta know: are you gonna be wearing? Are you gonna do your Speedo? Are you gonna break out anything, or you going to the beach? Something? I mean, it's 4th of July, week 2. I mean,
I might have to. I got to get a tan going. I'm still looking pretty pale.
fair enough. Well, if you do, remember, or just tell anyone you might know in your office or any women who might be looking for a bikini, that there is a New Jersey pizza chain that is celebrating the upcoming National Bikini Day by offering a, and I quote, $10,000 pizza bikini made from real-life pizza. I'm talking whole mozzarella, pepperonis, whatever toppings you want, the whole deal. This chain is called the Villa Italian Kitchen. It's a pizzeria founded in New York, based out of Morristown, New Jersey. And yeah, anybody willing to shell out $10,000 can get custom fitted for a pizza kini. Of course, this is one time, and I recommend you eat this thing.
This is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
This is a one and done, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I would not want to refrigerate that. I would not be storing that in any way. That's it. It's already.
Well, I mean, this is probably the first and last time they'll do it too. I can't. Anyways, keep going.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, it's already. We love pizza, okay, but it's whack enough to. Man, I couldn't do it. Even if I had like a pizza Speedo or something, it's just so weird. Like the grease up against you like that, man.
This thing cannot be good.
It can't. It can't. I mean, but it's crazy. They got a whole stylist, a promotional campaign for this. The restaurant said that it teamed up with a New York food stylist named Jesse Bearden to craft a bikini straight from dough. It's braided at the top with the waistband to keep it in place. Of course, with again, making your choice of toppings and all that by the end after you're fitting. But just pretty crazy, man. I mean,
no one's gonna buy this, let alone wear it. Look,
no.
Yeast in your private areas is never fun in any capacity. Because you're just gonna have to wear something underneath your pizza bikini to protect yourself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This is dumb. It's like there's dumb, and now apparently there's New Jersey dumb. Sorry, New Jersey, but you did come up with this.
Oh man,
I would love to hear. Now, when is this?
The day itself is on July 5th.
Okay, I want to hear how this does. So can you track this, and we'll talk about it next week.
I'll make a note on it.
I want to know how this does. Now, okay, so I'll take this back. Is the money going to a good cause?
There is no note about a charity donation or wherever else it's going. I could dig a bit more for that, but I found 3 or 4 separate sources on it that all just said 10 G's, but no outsourcing to that.
10 grand to get a yeast infection.
Have fun with that.
Can you get whatever you want on it?
Apparently, I mean it's made to order. They said it's a measurement session, and then you create the customized suit, and then you get your topping preferences. So
okay, so it's $10,000. I mean, is it like a big one piece, or is it? You're saying bikini, so I'm assuming it's a 2-piece.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't. Okay, because I was gonna say, well, okay, you get a giant one piece. Maybe that's worth it. But no, I mean, I'm kidding myself. There is no way this is worth it.
No.
All right, that's dumb.
Oh man! But until next time, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you again next week, fresh off the trail from having a review. I'll let you know how this pizza kini turned out, if it was eaten or just not bought at all, whatever else. But in the meantime, hey, give us a like, give us a favorite, give us a comment, subscribe, check in, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks again.
Spider-Man.